How y'all doing? We're gonna turn that off so
Uh-oh.
you can see all of us. So we're not doing our magic tricks like normal. Say hello. Hi, guys and gals. We're excited to be here as always.
We are. It's red light time.
I think we love red light too
We do.
much.
Well,
Yeah. A little bit too much, maybe no.
I don't know.
Oh, whatever. It don't really matter. Hi. So I am Collette Portis, and I am the COO and founding partner of Red Development Group. And my lovely co-host
And
is
I am Reggie Stearns Kemp, CEO and founding partner of Red Development Group. And
yeah.
we are so excited to be here again, yet on another Tuesday.
So listen, they get to witness some good stuff.
Oh.
We've been talking to y'all about stuff. Y'all don't even be knowing sometimes what we be talking to y'all about. But anyway, we got some amazing guests that we're totally excited to introduce you to today. But guess what? You're gonna have to wait just a little bit before we get to that point. So first and foremost, thank you for hanging out with us on Tuesday evenings and spending your time with us an hour, sometimes more if it gets real good and juicy.
Yes.
So we really appreciate that. We appreciate every time you hit the like button or the heart button or you comment or you share or whatever. And we hope that if you heard something really great, that you share it either with your audience or another business owner that you know who could use that information. So that is what our hope is. And today we're going to be having a good conversation. But before that, let me tell those of you who don't know who Red Development Group is, who we are. So we are a business development firm that specializes in helping businesses grow, which is so important right now. We've got so many businesses that are just trying to survive right now and figure it all out. And they just don't know what to do and they don't know where to go. Well, that's our specialty. We know how to help you figure it all out so that not only do you survive, because survival is not fun. You know,
No.
it's necessary.
Right.
We want to survive.
Right. But we want to thrive.
But we would like to thrive as opposed to surviving.
Right. And we want them to know and be aware of where they're going so that they can inform their team. Because oftentimes their team doesn't perform well because they don't know what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. So we want you all to thrive in your daily work every day. And so what we specialize in is helping you to alleviate the stress of being a business owner, of being a parent or a caregiver or whatever on top of being a business owner, helping you to reduce the stress from financial issues or not even under, sometimes you got the money, you just don't know what to do with it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I'm having a lot of that conversation these days.
I am too. A lot of people have applied for these funds.
Yeah.
And some of them have sent them back because they didn't have a clear plan.
Yes. And listen, if you get the money, don't send it back. Call Red Development Group. We'll tell you how to use the money and not just use the money, because there's a difference between using money and growing money. Uh-oh.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We'll tell you how to grow the money so that not only do you get the money and the funds to repay the funds that you borrow or make sure that they get forgiven, but also you can take that money and turn it into more money, because that's the key.
That is right.
Yes. So alleviating your and reducing your financial stresses, making sure that you're connected with the support system that you need. You know, a lot of times conversations with business owners, they're lonely. And oftentimes they won't admit it. And they'll say it, you know, from one business owner to the next, but they won't really say that. And a lot of times that's because their families don't understand what they're doing. The children don't understand what they're doing. Their spouses don't understand what they're doing. And they just don't get it. And so they feel like a man or a woman on an island. Well, what we understand and know is that it's absolutely important and pertinent that you connect with the right group of people to support you on your journey, because that's how you win.
And I think since COVID, I think the community support is really important. And then I think we all assumed that our banking institutions knew what we needed as small businesses, our I mean, we had all these assumptions that everybody was doing what was best for the local economy, small businesses. But the reality is we were disconnected.
We were. Our chambers, listen, we're having conversations every day with chambers and banks and the cities because nobody really knew what to do. And that's okay because everybody doesn't do what we do every day. Everybody's not supposed to know what we know every day. But now that we're there, it's about making sure you are connected with the right support systems who have the right information to help you thrive.
Right.
And so that's one of the things that we do. And lastly, you have worked hard. You work sometimes 18, 19 hours a day, sometimes 7 days a week. And you didn't get into this to be trapped in the job that you own. You oftentimes did it because you wanted your freedom.
Right.
You know, and while we do enjoy some freedoms, what's real freedom is when you can walk away and it will still thrive and grow without you.
You know, and the realization that if you're in an owner's trap, you placed yourself there.
That is true.
And so you have to admit it and then work toward coming up with a strategy to remove yourself from the owner's trap.
First off, you need to understand what strategy is.
Strategy?
Because it is not writing a business plan. I repeat, this is a PSA. Strategy is not writing a business plan.
This message was approved by Red Development.
Yeah. And did I say that strategy is not a business plan? I just wanted to make sure I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not. So what is it? And how do you gain access to it? And how do you do it correctly is the real question. So that is who we are and what we do. We are adamant about it every day. We are adamant about our business owners growing, thriving, and enjoying life because this journey is amazing. And you can wake up every day with a smile on your face and hop out of the bed at 5:30 in the morning because you love it and not roll out of the bed at 5:45 because you have to get up and do it so that you can feed your family.
You hit the alarm clock and all day long you're dreading it. Yes. So I do think that we should say hello to our viewers that are very consistent.
Hi, everybody. Let me tell y'all something that we learned.
We learned
recently. So I know my Aunt Sue is probably watching. So I'm just going to say, hey, Aunt Sue.
That's right.
Because she
watches the whole crew
whole crew all the time. And Shannon and Alfred and Shantina and Thomas, and
we have a lot of viewers that they peep in and they stay. They don't just show up, they stay. So we're hoping and we're believing that something we're saying is making a difference. But we thank you for viewing and being a consistent viewer and for telling others. So thank you.
And giving us honest and raw feedback. Right. Yeah, that gives it to us. But it's good because that's how we grow and that's how we become better because we really want to give you what you need. This isn't about us.
Right.
You know, this is stuff we know, but this is about making sure that you get what you need. So the topic for the day is calculated. I need you to remember that I said that word first. Calculated risk.
Yeah.
Well, what is that, might we ask? Well, the definition of that.
Everything goes back to that strategy.
Yes. Calculated risk. The definition of it is an undertaking or the actual or possible product of an undertaking whose chance of failure has been properly and previously estimated. You mean to tell me you can estimate your risk?
You can. And you know, a lot of times we count the costs in the beginning and then we forget to count the costs. We don't check to make sure jobs are aligning or if they're coming in under budget, in budget, over budget. Calculated risk.
You just said something. You mean to tell me you got to make sure that employee that you hired is coming in budget or over budget or under budget or whatever? Always. It's important. Every dime, every dollar you spend in your business is important to you. And so one of the things that we tell our clients is it doesn't matter what it is you're spending money on. If you're joining your local chamber, you need to have investigated to make sure that what they do helps to benefit and move and grow your business forward. It's not just a place where you get to network with other people. It is actually a place where they cultivate and nurture the kinds of businesses that you have. That's important. Your banking relationships, absolutely the same. Do you know whether or not your bank lends to businesses like yours? If the answer is no, you have to go find out. And if they tell you no, you have to go find a bank that does and start to build a relationship with them.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people just think banks are equivalent, but there's banks that specialize in helping certain industries. Some of them prefer real estate and construction over transportation and waste man. I mean, they have specific areas that they focus on. And so you need to be aware of what those areas are. And it's just a conversation.
You mean to tell me the bank got a strategy?
They have a strategy. And they exercise this, and they have calculated the risk.
They have calculated the risk.
That's why they choose industry.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So good business is done when you've calculated your risk. We talked about in the previous week, we talked about stop pushing that button. Reginald's is over here. She pushing this button. I be trying to hold it all in, but Reginald, she just be flying through this thing. We talked about missed opportunities, and we talked about making sure that you get organized. We talked about the goalie series. I keep it here because there's some good stuff in here. I just want y'all to know. So sometimes
it keeps you on track.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm not just saying it.
Right.
It absolutely keeps you on track. But you have to be very consistent and diligent about everything you do as an entrepreneur. Yes. And then when you do that, you're not overwhelmed because you've consistently done it. So it becomes habitual, but what you're doing is making a difference to the livelihood and the longevity of your business.
Yes. So with that being said, I want you all to know that small business employs 57% of the country's private workforce. That's a lot. So notice I said 57, not 50, not 47. Small business employs more than the big business does. 57%. I didn't even say medium business. I simply said small business. So when you think about that, it helps you to understand and put into perspective how important small business is to our economy. If they employ 57%, if we employ 57% and small business goes away, that's 57% of our population that's not employed.
Right.
That's not good.
That's an impact to our community.
Oh my God, a great impact.
Right.
So think about what's going on right now.
Right.
And so I encourage you, if you are a business owner, do not be one of those business owners that is too proud to have a conversation, to start with a conversation. You can determine whether or not you can afford it or what the possibilities are after you've had a conversation. But if you've not at least had a conversation, you are doing yourself a disservice. And another statistic is women-owned businesses employ 9.2 million people. That's a lot of people.
And that's just women-owned businesses.
That's just women-owned firms. That's it. Right? So, good stuff. So guess what? We're excited. Yay! We have some of the most amazing, talented,
energetic,
right? Minds. We never thought that we would come across this group. And so we've been talking about our REDForce interns for weeks and excited about them. And so today you are going to get an opportunity to meet Sara and Jackalyn and Jacob. Because they're amazing. And we're so excited. And Sarah's going to have to turn her camera on so the people can see her face. But We're so excited to have you guys.
We are.
You got to talk back.
So have you survived the first week? I know it's like day 2, but.
Yeah, yeah, it's been pretty great.
Good. So you guys had a strategy session today. Well, not a strategy session, but you guys were working on our walkthrough for our event on Friday. Hey, Sarah.
Hi.
You look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
So anyway, we're excited about what you guys are working on today, and we'll hear more about that on Thursday. It's still a secret for the world to know, but yes. So how did it go?
It went good. We went through some troubleshooting, you know, kind of I don't know how to talk about it without giving it away. We did some fine polishing. I'm excited.
Very good. Everything's so top secret right now, but
It
they'll be able to
is.
share it next week.
Well, I'm just excited that y'all did some troubleshooting.
Yes. Oh my
Because
gosh.
otherwise that would have meant we'd had to do it on the fly. And see, but this is the great thing about having young, fresh minds to help you. And here's the thing with REDForce, because we are strategists, business development is our business. We came into this with a plan.
Right.
We knew who we needed. We knew what they needed to have in order for them to come and be their best.
Right.
So do you think did we do an okay job? If we didn't, tell us no.
I think you did a great job.
Jackalyn's like, well, since you asked.
I guess we're pretty awesome.
So introduce yourselves and what your role is here at Red Development Group.
And then maybe the college.
Oh, and your alma mater, because you know we got to shout out our alma maters.
Right.
I won't do it because it'll take me 30 minutes to shout mine out. So.
I'll go ahead and start.
Go ahead.
So my name's Jacob Gearling, and I actually haven't graduated yet. I will be graduating this fall in December from Texas Tech University with a major in advertising. And I do the brand development for the Red internship, as well as some kind of design work with graphics and whatnot. So, yeah.
Well, we're excited to have you. Let me tell y'all something that's amazing about Jacob. This is what I love about Jacob. So Jacob, can I tell?
I'm not sure what you're about to say.
It don't matter. I'm telling her anyway. So Jacob wanted to join his marketing team. This probably was the decision maker for us with Jacob. He wanted to join the marketing club, right? Marketing club at your school?
It was the advertising team. But
The advertising team. And they wouldn't let him. Oh, so good Jacob fashion, he said, fine, I'll just go start a business and we'll go make some money while we do it.
Right.
And we'll do some stuff for some fashion houses out of New York and stuff like that. I'm just saying, that's a boss move.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You know?
Yes.
He's so humble about it though. Yeah.
About everything.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Jacob. Who's next?
I can go next.
Okay.
My name is Jackalyn Beck. I'm the editorial intern, and my alma mater was Oklahoma State University. I graduated with degrees in agribusiness and agricultural communications last year.
Very good.
And so none of us know, nobody knows what that is. We just know it's got something to do with plants and trees and weeds and stuff. But Jackalyn's zone of genius is editing and writing. And listen, nobody understands how happy I am to have Jackalyn. I'm just saying, you know. So we've got some really great minds. She's even got a freelance writer, right? And ghostwriter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a lot of different freelance work.
Yeah.
So including ghostwriting and pretty much everything.
Yes.
Gotta keep busy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ghostwriting is not her favorite, but she excels at it.
Yes. Normally it's not our favorite.
That's
that we
what she
excel.
did,
Yeah. All right, Miss Sarah, you're up.
I am Sara Hussenet. I just graduated from Michigan State in May, and I am, yeah, go green. I am the marketing intern at RED, so I kind of help RED tell their story and reach as many people as we can.
Yes, tell our story.
Oh my goodness, we need it, Sarah.
You know, you think you know your story until you have to tell your story, and then you're like, what?
Well, you know your story. I'm so glad you said that, because as business owners, we know our story. But the question is, can you tell somebody else so they can understand it?
And will it be compelling enough?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because people just aren't excited about what you're doing.
We're
as you
excited.
are. They just like, oh, okay, well, that sounds nice. And you're like, I don't understand why they're not more excited.
As excited as I am.
Yeah. So there you go. Well, and so Sarah did some work with Adobe and all of that, and their new campaign and some amazing stuff that we can't wait for her to do with Red Development Group. So we have really been blessed in that we have you three amazing people. And you know, our topic today is calculated risk. So we took a calculated risk, as I started to say. We developed our plan, our strategic plan, using the goalie system. And so we spelled out who we needed.
A year ago.
Mm-hmm. We spelled out who we needed. We worked the plan, and the plan started to reveal more about who we needed. Mm-hmm. And we just took those things and created the job announcements, and then pushed out the internship opportunity. And we got, ta-da!
We did.
These three really phenomenal people.
We did. But the process, you know, but we had an interview, but we had a process. And we
did.
Used technology.
Yes.
And we used social media.
We did.
Yeah. And, you know, that's real important. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to know that you're not alone. Whether you're a small business or a medium-sized business, you have the resources. Just learn how to maximize and use the ones that you have.
Can I say this? Okay, it might sound a little mean, but I'm not trying to be mean. But I gotta say, if you are alone in business, it's because you made the choice to be.
Yeah, you want to be.
That's the low down dirty truth. That's what my grandma used to say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because you know what, you can call anybody. There are resources available for you can call. You could even just chat. You can go on a timeline.
Yep.
So there's no reason.
There's no reason to be alone in this. And so we decided that one of the things that we say all the time is nothing great happens with one person. Well, there's two of us, and we know that we both have this level of greatness in us, but we also understood that to maximize that greatness that we needed other people. And so hence the REDForce. So you guys can just jump in there if you have a comment or something like that. This is a conversation. So if you have something to say, just say it. But what I want to know is, what are you guys passionate about?
And it doesn't have to be necessarily in regards to Red.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I'll jump in. I am very passionate about, I guess, helping people in a work sense and not in a work sense, whether it's just they need a favor from a friend or they need help on a project. I think it's really important for people to know that there's always help out there, and I don't think that's stressed enough. So I hope in my professional career and, you know, in my non-professional career, I always want to be a helping hand.
So let me ask a question, Sarah. If somebody came to you, as this is one of the things that Red does, if somebody came to you, especially for small business owners, and they said, Sarah, I really need some marketing help. Would you be willing to donate 90 minutes of your time to help my business with marketing a month? What would you say to that?
I would say yes, because I want to help them, but also I always say the more you put into something, the more you're going to get out of. And I think there's a learning experience with every task you take on. So I'd be more than willing to help.
Right. But how simple is that question to ask somebody? You know, it's a non-threatening question. You don't feel like somebody's just trying to get a bunch out of you and they're not, you don't even think about any of that stuff. And if they genuinely only really want 90 minutes from you, I mean, what could you do in an hour and a half for a business? There's probably a significant amount you could do in an hour and a half. It could be looking at their brochures or whatever and saying, here's some suggested changes that could absolutely be the change for that business. So again, we're talking about calculated risk. It's a risk in asking someone to donate their time to you. But it's about the way you ask. You know, our parents used to always tell us, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. My mom told me that all the time. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So when you say it like that, 90 minutes, it's not threatening. And who's going to be like, oh, I don't have an hour and a half. It's like.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, and I think what happens too is that when you open up that door, it allows you to communicate. And as a mentor, that kind of sounds like mentorship in a sense. Every time I've mentored somebody, I've learned, I feel like more than possibly they did. So, you know, they may feel like they're given 90 minutes, but I believe that along the way, there's something that they gain from it too. You may not ever know what it is, or they may actually say, you know what, I got 90 minutes for you, and this is my ask that I have of you. You know, so it may work both ways.
Absolutely. So Jacob or Jackalyn, what are you guys passionate about?
I'll go
I
ahead.
can go ahead.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
okay.
You go, Jacob.
I'm cool with
You got
whatever.
this.
So I would say I'm passionate about the process. I think this is the best way to phrase it. We kind of spoke when y'all interviewed me for the internship, and we talked about kind of like my hardships and whatnot and some of the successes. And, you know, I think it's really important to be passionate about that, to realize, you know, all your failures are just kind of another step toward in the right direction. I read something cool on LinkedIn today where someone didn't get the job, and she said, like, you know, most people would take this as a rejection, but I like to see it as a redirection.
That was good.
So that hit hard, you know. But I think, it's just the process, you know, like in starting that business, it was nowhere near easy, and y'all can relate to that more than anyone I know. But I like it. It's frustrating, but it's really rewarding. So yeah, the process.
Jacob, I love what you just said. And the reason why I love what you just said, because I am always talking to people about perspective. So my son calls me the bulldog. And sometimes I am. And so I had a bulldog moment yesterday with a friend of mine. And he's going on and on and on. And at some point, he just finally was like, okay, calm down. And I'm like, no, if I have to fight with you about you to make sure you get the best thing for you, then I'm willing to do that. And if you're mad at me, so be it, but I'm willing to do that. But the perspective, and I kept saying, you have to change your perspective. You didn't fail at anything. What did you learn during this time? You actually learned something. Now, when you fail is when you either quit or you walk away without evaluating and learning anything from the experience.
Yeah, but you know, the interesting thing that you said about that is that for entrepreneurs, oftentimes they don't have anybody holding them accountable or speaking to them and letting them know that that is absolutely wrong. Consider something else different so that you can be successful.
And you have to be willing to do that. But to Jacob's point, though, you know, he loves systems and being systematic and stuff like that. If you don't have anything in place, what does somebody hold you accountable to?
Right.
You have no KPIs. You have no key performance indicators. You don't have hold you accountable for what? You know, where are you going? I was listening to an interview with one of my favorite people on earth, which is Dr. Dennis Kimbro, who is the author of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, who I absolutely love. And he was talking about your mission and your vision. And I wrote it down here because it was so good. And I just wanted to say exactly what he said. So he talked about your mission being where you're going. And your vision being why you're going there. Isn't that easy? Like, people get those two things so mixed up, but your mission is where you're going and your vision is why you're going there. I was just like, man, that is ingenious. Just absolutely ingenious. And then he said, small business owners run small business enterprises that solve problems.
Yes. Yes. And that is one of the reasons why you cannot do it alone. If you are a change agent and it's going to make that big of a difference to the world, you need other people.
Absolutely. Well, and let's just say we've got Sara, who's working on marketing stuff for us. We've got Jacob, who's working on branding and some design stuff for us, and we'll be working on some business development stuff with us.
Yes.
There's so many pieces of this that who can be great at all of the pieces as one individual. It's just not possible to be great at all of the pieces. And it's not even possible to be good at all of the pieces as one individual.
Right, you know, and so even the editorial side, there were certain things that we had started because we knew the direction we wanted to go, but it wasn't until we got Jackalyn that it all is coming together and making sense. Absolutely. So, you know, again, the collaborative partnership.
Absolutely.
Between us and them.
But the other piece of it is, and you know, one of the things I took away from Dr. Kimbrough talking about the mission and where you're going and the vision and why you're going is if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a system, if you don't have direction, then we wouldn't have the opportunity to see the greatness in Jackalyn come out, because where are we going anyway? How will we even use her?
Right.
How will we use Sara? How will we use Jacob? How will we know how their skill sets and the greatness that's in them actually fits into Red Development Group, so that we can, one, cultivate that, because we're really big. So part of the reason why we have them here, we've talked about them so much, is for most internships, what happens is you know, a graduate or a college student goes into an organization and they work. And they are only known to that organization. Right. They're pretty much a secret. We don't want to keep our interns as a secret. We are hoping that somebody hears and something great that they say or something like that and go, you know what, I really should interview that person to see if they fit inside of my organization. Red Development Group is about creating leaders. And if you're about creating leaders, you know that leaders will lead. So they're not going to stay in your bubble because you're developing leaders who need to go out and lead. So that's what we're doing with the REDForce. And so we're super proud of them and excited to have them here. So Jackalyn, what are you passionate about?
For a second, I was worried you forgot about me.
I did it. I did it.
We know how to circle back around.
I would say I'm really passionate about connecting with people and learning their stories and communicating that story through writing especially, but really through any way. I think it's so awesome to get to sit down with people and connect with them one-on-one and hear what they're passionate about, but also, you know, what's their life story and how did they get to where they are now. So I would say that's definitely what I'm passionate about, and that's really affected my life in my writing, but in everything else as well.
And we can totally tell that that's where you are. But what I'm hoping that as entrepreneurs you all are getting from this is that help is all around you, number one. But if you know what you need, it will show up.
Right.
And not only does it show up, it shows up great. Like, we didn't have to teach Jackalyn how to edit, Sara about marketing and advertising, Jacob about branding. We didn't have to teach them that. But the other thing is, when you guys came, part of what we were looking for when we were interviewing you is, how do you fit into our culture? So for our interns, we don't have a set time that they have to work. They don't have to clock in at 8 o'clock and clock out at whatever time. We just want you to meet the deadline and show up and be great.
Right.
You know, of course, if we're doing something like this or a meeting or something like that, you got to show up, you know, on time. But for the most part, we're not working within the confines of a certain time of the day and things like that. Well, that takes a lot of integrity, you know, and you have to have the desire to do this. But how were we able to select these 3 interns was because we understood what our culture was.
Our culture, and you know, I know people get tired of us saying strategy, but we pre-planned and we knew the strategy.
Yes.
And they are part of our strategy, and they're executing, helping us execute our strategy. So, you know, it wasn't a coincidence that you guys are gifted in those areas, because on our sheet, on our pre-hire sheet, we had the areas in which we needed people, and you guys fit perfectly into those areas. So, you know, and that is why, and because of that, we're depending on your expertise, everything that you're bringing to the table. Now we can hone it and do whatever else, but we're dependent on you guys to go forward. So now the only thing that they had to do when they came to RED was to really understand our product and our service and our intent for our clients.
But you guys, so you guys did that. You got here, and all of you just blow my mind about how passionate you are about what we do, how you get it. How you get what we do, you're excited about what we do, and you understand it to a place where you guys are starting to take on the mission and the vision of this company yourselves. So here's something I was curious about, and we know it's not been that long yet, but we like to think you've learned something since you got here. But so my question is, if one of your friends came to you and said, Sara, I'm going to start a business, what piece of advice would you give them now that you are part of REDForce, you're a member of the RED Development Group team? Now, what piece of advice would you give your friend?
Well, I recently learned from a little project that I just completed that I can't talk about yet, that in 5 years from when a business starts, half of them don't even make it to 5 years. And so if someone is starting a business, I would again tell them, you know, those stats, and tell them to reach out to people, and it's okay to ask for help, and to, I guess, have a well-rounded team. Because I've also learned that you can be strong in one area, but if you lack in another, it's not going to mesh well, and you're going to be missing some components. So yeah, definitely.
That's good.
So I'm going to say Jacob for last, because I got a little bit of a different question for him. But Jackalyn, what, like, if your friend came to you and said they were starting a business, like, now that you've had this, that you spent this short amount of time with us, what would be your piece of advice for them?
And even Jackalyn, she kind of has an entrepreneur thing going. So
yeah.
I feel like, given what we've talked about, that I should say to strategize, but
you get an A.
I'm gonna say to network and get to know people and connect with people. Yeah, even with the short time that I've been at RED, Collette and Reggi, you both have been really helpful in getting me connected with people that, you know, I wouldn't have met otherwise. It's super interesting to meet all these different people and their different areas of excellence and superpowers. And so that's what I would say would be to connect and get to know people.
Yeah. And what I love to, so I spoke on the panel of exceptional women last Thursday. Yeah, last Thursday. And there, I think, were 83 of us or something like that. There was a large number of us, exceptional women from all over the world, which is what made it so phenomenal. From all over the world. And so Jackalyn joined us, but as a result of that, she now gets to connect with all of these exceptional women from all over the world and build relationships with them. which is one of the things, again, because we had a strategy, we came into this intentional. We knew that we wanted that for the REDForce. We wanted that for our interns. We wanted to introduce them to people. So Friday, they'll get an opportunity to connect with city leaders and community leaders and business leaders and things like that, because this is not just about them coming to help us, but it's also about us being responsible for growing them while they're here.
It is truly beyond the walls.
It is. Yeah. Okay, so Jacob.
I'm ready for you.
Since Jacob said, forget y'all, I'll go start my own thing and make some money. What would you do differently now that you've spent this time with Red Development Group? What would you do differently in restarting that and starting that venture?
I think you guys kind of touched on it a moment ago about how some people almost choose to be alone when starting a business. And that's not necessarily the complete case with me. But I did take a lot on. And I think I took a lot more on than I should have, especially, working multiple jobs and going to school full time as well. But it almost felt like I was protective about it, like this company was like my baby.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where if you want the job done right, you got to do it yourself. So I think I'd put a lot of my trust more in the people I was able to bring in. They were there for a reason, same way we are and you are. I think that was a big part of it. I think that would have took a lot of stress out. I think it would have showed a lot of outside perspective beside my own thinking. And I mean, I was transitioning toward that, but then we got hit with the COVID.
Yeah.
But when things start running again, I look forward to kind of running that out there.
Yeah. So Jacob brought us right back to our topic, which is calculated risk. Because, and we used to proudly say it with our chest out, and some people still do. Say, if you want it done, then you got to do it yourself. Lies and propaganda. If you want it done right, you got to find people who already have the skill and then help them to become better. If you want it done right. But here's the crazy thing, Jacob. There are business owners that have been in business for 30, 40 years who have yet to learn the lesson that you've already learned. That you got to let go, and you have to see the value in other people. But let me ask this, Jacob. Would you possibly have picked your team differently?
I don't think so. No. A big idea behind the Bullseye Collective, that's what it's called, is part of it was bringing in a lot of people that are inexperienced from the college, and that being an outlet for them to learn kind of hands-on beyond the classroom. So as far as like a selection process, there wasn't necessarily one as far as people being able to join. It was just really those with the amount of responsibilities. That's where kind of the selection came in.
So that was a part of your strategy.
Yeah.
It goes back to strategy.
Absolutely. And it may not have appeared like it. You might have just thought about it like, we got an open door policy here. But you were on purpose about saying, if you don't know, it's okay. We'll come in, we'll teach you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So thinking about strategy, do you view strategy different now that you really hear how we talk about the importance of strategy within an entrepreneur's life, small business, and or as it relates to the economy? Do you think about strategy differently in your life and or as it relates to businesses?
I'd like to think so. I definitely have a better understanding of how intricate a process it is now. I think I was a bit naive and ambitious, which I'm not mad about, especially the ambitious part. But with the strategy, I think I was trying to kind of learn as I go, which is a little tough trying to get clients as a college student when, you don't have a lot under your belt.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of really circles back to getting the right people on your team and having them know how to help you.
and knowing who you need. So we're gonna start our annual planning for Red in a couple of weeks. And what REDForce doesn't know is there are 6 pieces of that plan that is all about you. It is all about you, and it has nothing to do with Red Development Group. And so you guys will work on building a strategy for your life for the next year. Where do you want to be? How are you getting there? How are you going to care for yourself in doing so? How are you going to make sure you're still connected with the people that you love and who love you? And what are you going to be doing over the next 12 months to get you to where you want to be? What I love so much about what we have the opportunity to do with REDForce is my son participated in an internship program that I loved. Like they took such great care of them. But the truth of the matter is they took great care of them up until the day that they were no longer their intern. Well, all the internships that I've ever done they did great by me until the day I was no longer their intern. There was nothing that they had me to do to say, you know what, when you leave us, we want you to leave here moving forward into something else. It's just like, oh, the internship's over. Here's your hoodie and your Yeti cup and your backpack. See you later. You know, we wanted to do more than that. And so we're involving them in our strategic planning.
Good relationships never end.
Never. Never.
Right. And I think another reason why REDForce was important to us, both Collette and I we were interns, probably more than once, but it was valuable, practical, on-the-job training. I developed relationships. I understand strategy. I understood conflict resolution. There's so many things that I learned as an intern. And we felt like if we learned it when we were growing up, how much more beneficial would it be for you, especially in the current climate where jobs are seemingly very difficult for college graduates to find. So it was very important to us that we created REDForce and have you guys join us. And of course, we don't expect for you to be here forever, but while you are here, we're hoping that you're going to learn a lot to use everything that you've learned here later in life.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, too, we're talking about not having boundaries and set times and things like that. Our interns made a commitment for, 9 weeks, 6 weeks? I can't remember. Thomas did it.
Right.
Which is amazing that I don't have to remember.
That's right.
Because the director of brand development knows all that stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's written down and we talk about it in our meetings.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't have to do everything.
As a leader, sometimes you don't have to keep up with everything. It has to be documented and followed, but you don't have to keep up with it anyway.
Exactly. So our interns have the option to stay on as long as they want. And then when they go, like, look, we are tired of y'all, then they can go forth. And our hopes is that they go forth somewhere where we've exposed them to somebody who is just as amazing. Sarah, you look like you have something to say.
Oh, no. I honestly, when I was going through the interview process, one of the things I appreciated the most is how much you guys actually value the people you work with and you show your appreciation. And I think that's important. And you guys do that.
Thank you.
Well, so you raise a great point.
Yeah.
One of my favorite CEOs in the world is Alan O'Neill. I love Alan O'Neill. I don't think Alan knows how much I love him, but I do.
Now he knows.
Now he knows. Now he knows.
And we have plans for him.
We have plans for him. He doesn't know. So Alan, if you're not watching, expect that phone call real soon. But the reason why he is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world is because Alan is the CEO of this whole enterprise. But he is on purpose and he knows, and if you have a 10-second conversation with him, you will walk away understanding that to him, the most valuable thing that he has are the people who help to bring the dream forward.
Right.
And I love that. about him. And so we work to make sure that you all know that you're not only valuable to us, but you are valuable, period. Because when you leave here, like, we're not just, sometimes you have those leaders that don't understand their own value. They're good leaders, but they don't understand their own values enough to take care of themselves too. Well, we want you all to understand that you're leaders and you are valuable, and go into situations with that attitude, not haughty or prideful, but just with an understanding of what your value is, so you won't settle for anything. You will go and get what you know you're worth. And so that means a lot to us, Sara. And so thank you for sharing that, because we say we do things all the time, but that doesn't mean that it translates.
Right. So their time is winding up.
Yeah.
So one last question. Tell us a reason why you joined REDForce. 1 or 3.
Okay. Well, I can go ahead again. Why did I join REDForce? Well, I was really looking forward to working with Tom again, first of all. That was a huge pull factor. But on a serious note, after looking into it, I was really intrigued, especially having started my own business. I thought it was a great outlet to learn about it, just the whole industry, myself, and the knowledge that the two of y'all have, that just seemingly becomes larger and larger as the more I get to know y'all. I just really look forward to tapping into that and learning from the two of you and the experiences that we'll have in the future through this internship. It showed a lot of opportunity for growth for me as a person, especially with, I have a recent interest in digital marketing, and, I've been looking into Google certifications and et cetera. And I talked to Tom about it, and he said, yeah, we'd love to have you, look into that kind of stuff. And, that was exciting for me, just having that kind of open availability to explore my curiosity and, kind of grow a portfolio in a sense. So yeah, just a lot of opportunities there that I'd like to take advantage of.
Yeah. We do love that, so he's talking about Thomas, our director of brand development, who just graduated with his master's, but his title was director of brand development, and he is working it out. He really is doing an exceptional job. But guess what? He just graduated with his master's. If he had gone to another company, he probably would be the, I don't know, associate customer service phone answerer. But we don't want that. We want you to show up and be great at what you're great at. And he really is. And what's amazing, I wish he was on here, but what's amazing is, but he is watching, so I do see that, but is that he's shown up and he's doing an exceptional job, and he's managing this whole REDForce thing for us.
And he is willing and he listens.
Yeah, he does.
Maybe strategy and listening, we need to have those 2 words. We need to say that more often. But if you listen, you will learn. If you know everything, you will never know anything. And he has excelled because he came in, what he didn't know, he took initiative. Yeah. And then whatever else we felt like we wanted to share or groom him, he has been more than willing.
He has. And not only has he listened, but he's made adjustments.
Yes.
And he's taken everything in. And then he's taken on the culture of Red Development Group and allowing Jacob to come to him to say, hey, so I'm doing this thing.
Right.
Can I do it? And he's like, you know what? Go for it.
Right.
Because what's the worst that could happen?
Right.
He could shut down our website. And if he does, he knows how to rebuild it. That's the worst that could happen.
Because we won't be doing
it. If you broke it, you got to fix it. I'm just saying, right? but that's the culture that we have. And so I'm excited to hear that we're doing that well. But I think, again, a lot of that has to do with strategy, seeing the greatness in other people, expecting, oh my God, how much does our level of expectation impact your work every day?
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to do the best I can, honestly, regardless of expectation. You know, I try to hold myself to a self-standard. I'm just, you know, giving it all I got. But
so we weren't in the meeting today, but we sensed that.
Yeah. What about you, Jackalyn?
Are we talking about the expectations or about your earlier question?
Both. We're all
Okay.
Here.
I would say with expectations, I think that's kind of the cool thing about so far with Red. You know, I remember one of the first meetings where we were talking about individual projects with Tom, and I said, you know, I kind of want to do this, and he was like, do it. You know, like if I had to sum up the whole meeting, it was like that meme of just do it.
Yeah.
And I love that. And that there are expectations that hold you to a higher standard, but at the same time, there's also a large range of freedom, that so much so that I was almost like, wait, really? Like I can just do the things. So I would say that on the expectations. And then as for why I joined REDForce, I remember when I was in my second interview with you guys, just how energetic and fun it was to talk to you guys and to hear about your journeys as entrepreneurs. And I have recently become more interested in expanding my own business with freelance. And so when I saw that in you guys, I was like, yeah, I got to do this. It's going to be great.
So Reggie, we have successfully used our Jedi mind trick.
And tell my little sister that I am fun. No. And interesting, yeah. Anyway, that was
She doesn't
good.
believe.
No, she doesn't.
So how about you, Sarah?
Well, like I said, I joined Red because I could see how much, you know, you give off and how you guys value the people you work with. And going off of what Jacob said, I knew it would be a huge learning opportunity, because even when we were just, you know, starting to talk, you guys asked, you know, what are your goals and what do you want to achieve? And I said, you know, XYZ. And you were like, that's great. Like, we'd love to help you. Anything we can do to help you get there. And I appreciated that. So that's definitely something that pushed me to take this opportunity. And expectations for my work, I mean, I definitely try and hold myself to the best I can be. And I think when I even surprise myself with, you know, how great a project turns out, that's a good, you know, feeling and sign. So yeah, definitely just giving it your all and never giving up, even if it gets hard. That's what I tell myself.
Right. So what the world doesn't know about Miss Sarah is she is a scuba diver. She's a certified, right? Scuba diver who has dived, I don't know if I'm saying that right, or scubaed or whatever. Scoobed. She scoobed the blue hole. So, yeah, she's much braver than I am. Yes. I told her I'll hang out with her mom at the top and snorkel. Yeah,
at the top.
Yeah, we're at the top. Not by the big fish. The big fish are at the bottom. We don't want to go down.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are so excited about you guys. I mean, we can't say that enough. We are absolutely grateful to have all of you amazing young adults, fresh minds, fresh ideas. I can't wait to see what happens with this thing y'all met about today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see what we do in this time with you all. So the world should be watching Red Development Group, because look here, we got great people with some great stuff, great ideas, and a whole lot of greatness
in one place.
In just one place. It should be illegal, but it ain't. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining us. and allowing us to steal part of your Tuesday evening.
Yes.
And then thank you guys for coming back after packaging this whole video, putting it up on YouTube and making sure the text says what it's supposed to say. Because you know what? I'm just excited to have you here so I don't have to do it. How about that?
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. So you guys have a great night, and thank you
Yes.
again. And we're meeting on Thursday, right? Yeah, we'll see you on Thursday.
I'm
I
sure
think.
soon.
Yeah. So
Okay,
thank you.
toodles.
All right, y'all.
Thank you
Bye.
again.
Talk to you soon.
You guys have a good evening.
Thank
You too.
you.
Bye-bye.
So as you guys can see, the REDForce is just phenomenal, and we love them. And what we didn't say is our interns are not paid interns. There's a non-paid internship.
At this time.
But if you've noticed anything, if they show up, they have ideas, they're innovative, they want to do more, they want to be here, they want to help us help you. So when you're thinking about who you need on your team,
Yes.
think about what group of college students you have around you, high school students. We're
Yes.
about to we're going to
Yes.
take on some new interns here soon,
Mhm.
so that we'll tell you about that one later.
Yes.
But these are high school students.
They are.
Yeah, who are super sharp, and we're totally excited about them. And so you'll hear about that soon.
Mhm.
But what we want you to know is to make sure that in your business, you know where you're going, you know why you're going there. You've created a plan to actually get to that place. And then you found the people who are going to help you get there. And be sure that anybody who's traveling with you is helping you pull the wagon and not sitting in it.
Ooh. Okay.
I'm just saying. So this has been Red Light. Remember to follow us on LinkedIn, or connect with us on LinkedIn, follow us on Instagram, connect with us on Twitter, and join us and be our friend on Facebook, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you
Exactly
can get
what
this
she
shit.
said.
All of that
Connect
good
with us on
stuff.
social media.
Yeah, you know. Make sure you get connected.
Yes.
Make sure you send us your comments and all of that kind of stuff. We love to hear from you.
Tell a friend, share.
Yes, and make sure you send this to somebody that you know who needs it.
But above all, come up with your own strategy for your company.
Yeah, not just listen, let me take 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
What we're talking about is not just about business.
Mm-mm.
Because even if you're an individual, where do you want to be
Right.
in a year? You could work for somebody else. You can be what's called an intrapreneur. I
Mhm.
won't tell you what that is. You
Mhm.
look it up. Yup.
Mhm.
An entrepreneur, where do you want to be personally in your life in 12 months? And then develop a plan to get you there. But let me tell you something else. If you're a parent or a spouse, don't forget your family. Where do you want them to be
Right.
in 12 months?
Right.
And that's one of the things that we do at Red Development Group. When we're building out your strategy, when we're helping you build that strategy, we are including what you want your family to do over the next 12 months.
It's a holistic approach.
It really is.
Mhm.
Where do you want to be personally? Where should your family be by the end of that 12 months? Because a lot of times we take this journey and we leave them behind.
Mhm.
And then our kids don't know us and our
Mhm.
spouses leave us
Mm.
because we left them behind. It's not necessary,
Mhm.
but you do have to have the right tools in place to make sure that you are successful and that they can come along with you.
Mhm. You know, the other day I was listening to something and she made a comment. She said, what if somebody gave you $86,400 a day, every day that you had to use up before the next day? It wouldn't carry over. And she said, that's what time is.
Oh,
You get 86,400 minutes or seconds in a day.
Yeah.
And you have to use it in that day. And so what are you doing in that day? How are you spending that money, that time?
That's good. Things to make you go, Well, this has been Red Light with the ladies of Red Development Group. I am Collette Portis.
And I am Reggie Stearns Kemp.
And we thank you for hanging out with us. And we will see you next Tuesday, at 6 p.m. sharp.
Right here.
Toodles. Thank you for joining us. We are so excited that you decided to take some of your time and spend it with us. You know, people say that time is money, but we don't believe that because there's no amount of money that you can spend to get your time back. Time is invaluable. And so we appreciate the fact that you took some of your time and spent it with us. That means a lot. And we hope that it was time well spent. Listen, we are on purpose about disrupting the status quo, helping you to become a sound, solid, sustainable business owner, helping you to build and grow your legacy, and bringing together the resources, the tips, the tools, the tricks, all of that stuff that will help you do that. And so we hope today that you got some of that. But the work is just beginning. There's 3 stages to this. You have to evaluate, you have to plan, and you must execute. So do yourself a favor, do us a favor. Go to reddevelopmentgroup.com or redwomen.win and do your business diagnosis. There's a link right on, there's a pop-up that will come up so you can do your red business diagnostic that is going to help you determine right where you are in business. Because the only way to get to where you're going is to first know where you are and where you're starting. So evaluate your business. And then next, go to Amazon, go to ColettePortis.com, get your goalie bundle. This is how you're going to write your plan. Not just any old plan, an effective plan that tells you and your team and those who work with you what needs to be done in your business every day in order to execute the business of your business. We want you to show up and be great. We want your greatness to show up in your business. We believe that you are great and nobody else can do what you do to the level that you can do it in. But you first have to evaluate where you are, create a plan, and then execute the plan. And then don't forget to follow us. Come back next time. Follow us on LinkedIn. Follow us on Instagram. Connect with us on Facebook. Find us on YouTube. Wherever you can find us, connect with us. We have a blog where we're pushing out great information, not just from us, but all of the experts that are in our network are there to feed you the things that will cause your greatness to explode out of you. So show up, be great, be the best at what you're the best at, and connect with Red so we can keep feeding you the tools, tips, and tricks and resources that will help you do that. Until next time, we will see you on the other side. Have a great day.